Hi all, my name is Miriam Mortel and I am author of the book Lessons in Law of Attraction. So I spoke about in my last video why I wrote the book, but let me say it a little differently this time. The reason I wrote this book is because I care. I've been thinking a lot about what's been going on in my own life, and for me, I'm just someone who's been through a lot. I'm someone who's often felt like life is really hard. And I've been working on changing my own paradigm to feeling like life is easier for me. Life is getting easier for me. Life has always been easier for me. I should say life has always had the capability to be easy for me. But the reason that it wasn't was because of how I was thinking. In other words, it was easy for me to make my life hard. Does that make sense? See what I did there? You see how I retroactively said life could have really been easy? It was easy for me to make life hard, even though my life really was hard. I've been through a lot of hardships. But I'll tell you something. Having gone through those hardships, making meaning for me, because the meaning that I also give to things, that everything that I go through is ultimately for my own benefit, for my own self-growth, and to actually get me not just for my soul journey, not just for the religious stuff that we hear, but because it's actually leading to my own happiness here in this lifetime too. And so the reason that I wrote my book is because I didn't want other people to struggle. I know I can't take everyone's boo-boos away. I can't. But I want to do my best to help alleviate that pain, to help make life better. And I wanted people to know that they're cared about. And so my book is there to help change the paradigm, to help everyone feel happier and loved, and to feel like someone is going through that journey with them. So yeah, it's a shameless plug to go buy my book. Not because I need book sales. It has nothing to do with my main profession. That's not where I get the majority of my money from. But because I wrote this and spent so much time like you wouldn't believe. Just wanting people to help the world. Knowing that even after I'm gone, I have a legacy. I mean, don't get me wrong, maybe I can manifest living forever, who knows? I think we're all at the point, I'm like, well, if nothing else, we'll all live forever as like an avatar or some kind of NFT, something or other. But that's my joke for a long time. My point is, we all have different ways to view life. And, I said, ironically, my view of life is my biggest reason for why I wrote the book that I wrote. And I really wanted to share that. That was just so important to me. And I hope that resonates with you. And I hope me sharing that also for anyone who's ever felt like life is hard. I can't tell you how many times, in my Instagram messages, by the way, the light, I don't know if it's showing up on here, but at least it looks to me like it's almost switching from red to yellow on here. Hopefully that's not translating through, but if it is, I don't know why that's happening. I guess how I'm moving in the camera's something. Anyway. But my point is, I was saying, I've had a lot of people, I have to cut myself off. I've had a lot of people on Instagram, write to me in my DMs, oh, it's so hard because I'm struggling with this. And I'm like, get rid of the word hard. Get rid of the word struggle. Granted, not the easiest. See, notice how I said that? Not the easiest. But, you know what I'm saying? It's really just habit. It's really all it comes down to is habit. Because if we're speaking it, that means we're really thinking it. And so it could be money, it could be relationships. But a lot of times, our biggest problem is feeling that life is hard. Really. I remember thinking that since I was at least 9 or 10 years old. I was like, why was I thinking that so young? I must have learned that from somewhere. Right? So we need to unlearn life being hard for anyone that resonates with this. Maybe you don't feel like life is hard. Maybe you just watch this video and you're like, okay, I just want to see what you have to say. But if you ever felt like life is hard, or you currently feel like life is hard, or a struggle, or any other synonym, complicated, whatever, you can actually choose to think about life differently. And it'll have to start showing up differently once you internalize that. So first it might seem like empty words, but it's like, when you say words, if you say like I've been saying, is what I'm personally working on. I've always been very vulnerable. It's a whole thing with my book. I'm always very vulnerable about what I'm working on. The thing I'm working on personally is life is easy for me now. I'm learning to make life easier for me now. I'm learning to retranslate my life to realize that it can be easy. You see how natural that sounds? I'm not just saying life is easy, life is perfect, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not going on some rant. I'm saying it in a way because I'm saying it in a believable way because that's how, like, the subconscious mind absorbs the most, right? That's the most helpful thing we can do is... Sorry, I feel like I had to sneeze. I'm like, can I hold back the sneeze? I'm like, I don't have to sneeze that video. Anyway. Whew. See, I avoided that sneeze, I think. But anyway, my point is, so yeah, the best way to adjust the subconscious mind is to, like, consciously stop, realize, like, how you've been reacting, and just reroute, and continuously reroute so that new patterns made. Reroute, right? So it's like, yes, and then you also say things that are how you normally speak. So it's like, yeah, I used to think life was hard, but, like, I made a mistake because I was taught it from somewhere. I don't have to continue it, and I'm working on it. I know it's going to be a little bit of a process till, you know, it fully takes hold, makes a change, but I'll get there. I know life can be easy. I'm on my way to life being easy. I certainly want life to be easy. You know, it doesn't have to be hard anymore. It's only hard because it was so easy for me to make it hard. Again, see what I did there? So, you know, like, I know, like, for me as a businesswoman, I was like, I would always have this feeling like, well, I don't know where the business is going to come from. Like, it felt really hard for me. And I would say, like, you know, the hard thing about my business, I just never know where it's going to come from until I have it, like, identified. That's the scariest thing for any business owner. But that was literally how I thought about it, right? So I had feelings of insecurity, but it stemmed from that thought of, like, the insecurity was I didn't know where it was going to come from. But it was like, and I knew it could be easy for others. I knew generally making money for some people is very easy. If it could happen to them, it could happen to me. But I would just think, oh, well, you know, it's been hard for me because, and I've catch myself saying that. A lot of things in my personal life. Well, it's been hard for me because, you know, there's certain health, when I say health things, like, when I say health, I mean that as a general term. I don't want to, like, worry people. You know, that I've worried, like, that I've just, like, even just, like, in wanting to change my diet, right? Well, it's hard for me because, you know, blah, 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 right? Like, I've dealt with IBS, fine. That's, like, one of the things I was referring to, right? So I haven't yet always been able to eat what I wanted. I'm working on manifesting, fixing that, because you can absolutely heal IBS, especially because why gut issues are heavily related to what's in your mind. I mean, every physical issue is really starts here in your mind, but especially gut issues, right? Because if you've ever heard that the gut is like your second brain. But a lot of times I think, oh, it's so hard. Like, I can't eat what I want. Like, I want to be able to eat healthy, but, like, with IBS, whatever it is, like, I don't know how I'm going to feel, right? I want to be able to eat this, but I don't know, whatever. It's so hard, it's so hard, it's so hard. And I would catch myself, I'm like, no. I got stinking thinking. It doesn't have to be hard. It's only hard because I thought it was hard. In other words, if my belief is that things in life are hard, reality has to match. We're always getting a mirror of our beliefs, okay? So, you know, I don't know if I maybe need to do another video on, you know, how our thoughts create and the mirror concept. That is in my book. I've addressed some things, and so, because basically the videos I was recording were without my face. They were just like because they were supposed to be like a podcast, and I was going to do a podcast, like, and just put it on YouTube, and basically made a YouTube channel, and I'm like, well, I like to show my face for relatability. But in those episodes, even though you're not seeing my face, I am talking about this stuff, so you can find that information there, just so you know. But the bottom line is our thoughts create. We're always getting a mirror. In other words, the inner world, we're thinking and then feeling in our heart, right? It's getting projected, and then people and circumstances are responding to that. Like, we're literally beaming out thoughts to people all the time. Like, it's ridiculous. I know it sounds weird. It is. It is weird. But that's how the world works. Sorry, you weren't taught that in school. But anyway, now that you know, you can change it. So my point is, the more you think about how you can change your life just with your thoughts, and that you can just decide, okay, well, I don't have to trick myself into thinking life is easy. You're like, I acknowledge I've just had a bad thought pattern of thinking life was hard, and I'm now consciously working on that. And then every day, just like, you know, a doctor says, you know, take this pill 2 or 3 times a day, whatever it is, this is your medicine. You're saying, life is easy for me now. I'm choosing for life to be easy for me now. I'm choosing to identify, and identifying is like the deepest core level of manifestation. I'm choosing to identify as someone that life is easy for me now. I'm picturing myself as someone that life is easy for me now. And I'll get into other videos, like, again, how to go through that identity shift. But it all starts with exactly what I'm telling you, of just noticing your thoughts, catching yourself in a pattern, and doing something differently. It's that simple. It really is. So I hope that helps, and I'll be back for another video.